Okay, well, hi everyone, it's week 4, and remember this week now we've got a couple things. We've got a discussion that we're going to do this week and our first test. All right, but let me go over the discussion first with you. This week we're dealing with civil liberties. Now, I mentioned civil rights. That's my little civil rights there. I want you to think in terms of the difference between civil liberties and civil rights. We do civil liberties this week. Next week we do civil rights, which are not quite the same. So I need you to parse out the difference between the two. But this week I want you to think about the idea of diversity and how diversity can kind of conflict with civil rights. So again, it's important you look up what civil rights are, think about that, and think about how diversity can kind of get in the way, and maybe kind of make it difficult to apply or to enforce civil rights. Then I want you to think about civil liberties. Civil liberties, the first 10 amendments kinds of things. And think about when is it okay to limit those liberties to promote security. Okay? In America, we always have this notion, this struggle with liberty and security. Keep in mind, the more liberty you have, the less secure you are. The more secure you are, the less liberty you have. Okay? So that's what I want you to think about. So two things. How does diversity, all of us in America being so very different, impact civil rights? Getting the things we want, being treated equally by different people. And then our civil liberties, our basic constitutional protections. When can those be limited to keep us more secure and safe? And giving our current administration some things I think is quite prevalent, okay? Then, in our test this week, you have 3 questions, okay? The first is going to ask, what are the pros and cons of democracy? We go back to our week 1 discussion on that, so look up your notes and look through the book on that. And then I ask you, how does representation protect liberty? That's from week 2. So it's a week 1 and week 2 kind of compressed together there, so look at that. But think in terms of democracy is not perfect. So what are some of the shortcomings of it, besides all the good things? How does representation protect our liberties? As I said, that's our week 2 discussion. Then I ask you to think about, and this is our federalism from last week, week 3. What is a national versus a local issue? What should states deal with? What should the national government deal with? Think about that. And then think about what is the economic impact? In other words, does economics limit what states can do? Does the ability of the federal government to raise lots of money and raise tax money expand their powers over states? So give that some thought. And then the third question is, what is a right? I'm talking about constitutional rights. What constitutes a right in our big document? Okay, what is it? What is a right? Someone says, hey, Andrew, hey, Jimmy, what is a right? What would you say to them? What is a right? And then again, when can we limit those rights? So that connects back over to here. So you see, I'm trying to connect week 1, 2, week 3, and week 4 on the test. So rights are important, but they're not impervious to limitations, okay? So if you have any questions, please email me. I look forward to reading this. I'll help you any way I can. All right? Have a good week. Bye now.